Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to VAC. My name is Volt, and I'll be taking you alongside Larry for a second day of our VAC X Shout charity event. Larry, first of all, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I've just gotten home like I don't know an hour ago, and I'm really excited to get going and to get to watch this game after we unfortunately had a little bit of delay here, Volt.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for being so charitable with us, for all the patience. We're here, we're ready, and we're about to kick things off. Of course, thank you for everybody who's watching and for the teams for their patience with the technical issues that we've had. But first things first is our game from Group B, where we're going to have challengers that will be going against Defined Esports. And I think this is actually one of the groups that had the least amounts of games played, because almost every other group has had 2 games. Group B only had a single game played. That was between Challengers and Frostfire. So great to see more teams being brought onto this stream. Great to see more teams play. And hopefully we'll set the stage, because Challengers have actually won their first game by a fairly significant margin. They won 2-0, 18 round difference, and they seem to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and if we have to look at a single player from challenges, which I mean is already pretty hard. If you're winning by that hard, it's very hard to just um
Yeah.
can't single out one player, but it has to be Jax. KD of 3.42 on that jet is just very, very impressive stuff to see, Volt. And I do hope that will see more of that today, going up against Defiant. But I'm pretty sure that Defiant is actually a little bit of a tougher roadblock than Frostfire was last
Mhm.
game. And so I do hope for this to be closer than plus 18.
Yeah, well, I mean, the veto itself definitely is always a factor. So, how about we let the fans and everybody who's watching know what we have in store for the two maps and for the decider if that is needed?
Well, yeah, of course, we will start on Abyss and then we will finish up with Bind and Lotus today. So it's a very
Mhm.
interesting map pool because I believe these are probably the three most different from each other maps that you can get
Yeah.
within a single three map pool. Um, and so I might expect to see a full three map series today, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to see that, but as you said, maybe you can touch upon things first of all. We're gonna start on the abyss, as you said. It's a very different approach, of course, to what you've seen because a lot of the tournaments at that level, even at the VCL level, really, you will see a lot of teams just gravitating towards doubling up on the Haven Lotus as the 1 and 2 picks. Since if you're good at one map, as you said, thematically they're very similar, so it's easy to win on one and then win on the other. But we don't see that. It's not even in the first two. I'm happy because I'm so tired of seeing Lotus. I know it's just back in the pool, but I feel like I've been watching Haven and Lotus for the whole year. So that's a good change. And Abyss, while it does have its drawbacks with the changes to pings and with the way that the meta has been developing, especially if you've been watching kickoff, it's looking very interesting. And there is a lot of variability and innovation that can be seen on the map.
Yeah, and going off of that, in the first few weeks of VCT, we've seen a lot of Teho being played on Abyss, and well, unfortunately, that isn't possible today. Um, I think it is a very good indicator for what is to come, in a sense that there might be some interesting comp ideas, and we might not really stick to the default that we know of as of now on Abyss. I mean.
Yeah, well, speaking of the devil, how about we actually do head on? Hold on, everybody. A fall is fatal. As Abyss will be kicking off for the Agent Select. Defiant will be on the side of the defense, and Challengers will be on the attack. Of course, Jax on the signature jet, but other than that, we're seeing I would say, what is a fairly typical confirmed Challengers. The KO, however, is something that is fairly new and can definitely switch up the mix.
I do feel like we've seen a lot of KO actually on Abyss over the past few weeks, especially at the higher levels, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been honestly very similar in a way meta-wise to what we know of Ascent. Just based on the agents, you have
Yeah.
a lot of single controller jets over KO, um, and so I'm really happy to see on the other side that Harbor coming through. But also on the side, I think it was Defiant. They're playing double smokes, Astra Omen,
Yes, they
and I
are.
love to see that. It's so refreshing to not always have an AWP controller and then a wall controller and
Mhm.
just kind of having these things balance out. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. You know what it actually reminds me of, in a sense? Remember the original comp that had no duelists and 3 initiators? I think it was. It's very similar to that vibe because you have 2 initiators, you have 2 controllers, sure, you have a duelist, but you're really not losing a whole lot out of that in that sense. You're still gaining the Astra, even not as smokes. You're still getting the Nebula, you're still getting the stun. The Cosmic Divide is one of the best ultimates on this map by far. So you're getting a lot of value, and even the Omen as well. You're still getting value out of him. You're not just playing around the smokes. They have a lot of playmaking and facilitating tools, which does make me feel like, yeah, sure, we have quote unquote 2 controllers, but they provide much more than just the smokes in this map. On the other end, we touched on Harbor a little bit. He functions similarly to what the Cosmic Divide wants to do in an ultimate, but he also has his very own intriguing set of tools between the Cascade and the Cove, of course.
Yeah, and it makes one of the biggest difficulties, in my opinion, on
Mhm.
Abyss. planting towards that A side really, really easy by just throwing down that cove, getting that plant in there very, very safely, honestly.
Hmm.
And then you only have to face that somewhat difficult post plant, but I feel like towards that A side, it's very doable. And on B, you honestly have an advantage as soon as the spike goes down,
Hmm.
like a really, really big one if you can find the spams at least.
Yeah.
And so this is where the Astra comes in. As you said, the cosmic divide, super powerful if you can get it online for those post plans. Um,
Hmm.
and so I am really looking forward to seeing how that dynamic pans out between the Harbor and the Astra, because
Hmm.
that's, in my opinion, the thing that differentiates the two comps the most. Um,
Absolutely.
Although we do see a Yoru on Defiant, meanwhile,
Hmm.
challengers. I think they're playing a Cipher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. There's a cipher on that side and the Euro on the other, if I'm not mistaken. And well, you know what? I feel like the cipher has definitely been that de facto king, despite all the nerfs. It feels like things have returned to neutrality. You only see Killjoy on maps where the sites are small enough for that lockdown to be just round altering or game warping in a sense. But Cypher really have a lot of value. You can just set your traps, have some support, set up with the cam, and it makes for a very good sentinel in a meta where you feel like all the other sentinels in comparison to these two, whether you're talking Vice, whether you're talking Chamber, they need to be much more proactive. These two especially are much more hands off, and that works a lot better in the abyss and all the angles you have to actually take, and especially on the side defenses themselves. We touched upon the A site. As I said, plans are difficult. It's even more difficult when half of the site is locked down by KJ Yuta and she only has to laser in on just a single angle.
Yeah, I do agree. And um, not playing against that KJ really gives you that freedom to
Hmm.
explore the map a lot deeply, a lot deeper, because well, the turret has that advantage that it can spot
Hmm.
down an entire sideline, and that's just something that
Yeah.
a Cypher cannot do with his tripwires. Um, and so the Cypher might be a little bit of a disadvantage in that sense, but on the other hand, of course, you have the universal range. Uh, on his trip, Cypher can be all the way over at B, and the trips are still active on A, and so that's just. I feel like that might be the biggest factor for this Abyss map because it is very big.
Thankfully, we are finally in the game itself, and it's about to let the two teams between Defiant and CN Challengers to give us their best shake at this map. They're gonna start right here on the pistol. Maybe my first point of attention here has to be the fact that the defensive setup is actually a 2-1-2 with them really not focusing on middle, at least for the pistol for now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have to do too much towards mid for either side, honestly, because the threats on Pisserand aren't that big unless someone really just walks up all the way. And Gongolonga is watching that, and you can also hear the drop from that catwalk from his position. So now it's just going to be a straight up B-side brawl.
Okay, they're going for those shots. Naiko's gonna find that first kill. Back in the smoke they go. And they're looking for even more. The spike at least will be planted, so challengers are off to an okay start, but they are still down a man and they need to make up for that in the full spot.
This is where the harbor really comes into play. The double smokes especially because, well, once the harbor wall goes down, you're stuck behind Omen Strokes, behind the cascade, and now the fight's already going down. Mo finds the first. On top of side a second as well. Just some really nice shots coming out from Mo right there.
Well, they're continuing their retake here. The attempt is about to speed up, but the reveal is massive. Evil's gonna find one, but it's two from challengers, only leaving Cap a lot. But he'll be taking a lot of shots there from that harbor. Vink is gonna take him down, and Defiant off to a pretty good start here.
And I mean, it was maybe a little bit brave by Mo to just stand top side and try to take these fights with his ghost, but hats off to him. It really worked out. He connected these shots, went 2 for 1, and it was a pretty easy cleanup in the end there for Scythe and all. So now VCGN, they're on an eco. Only a Sheriff on Nico, and that is a ghost. My brain is turning off right now. For the evil, and the rest only has some classics. So might be hard to get a lot of damage on this attacking side, but we've seen weirder things.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never really count out the pistols, but against an outlaw, it's a matter of slight lines. And right now, the defense are trying to play for the closer one, so that gives the attack the freedom to try to discover the map at their own pace. They're not giving them that many duels on mid. They didn't give them that dangerous duel on A side either. And they still got the spike and spawn, but they got their head of the right idea. The B side is the one that's much more loose. It only has a single player in it, that being Vink. And even Vink on their own wouldn't be enough. That's why we're seeing the start, and that's why we're seeing their focus averting back towards mid for the defensive side.
Yeah, but they really have to be careful. Vince is outlaw watching over the initial walkout, so as soon as someone touches his sidelines, he is dead. He does fall off for now, though. Needs to grab Spike, and the attack is moving towards A with the Spike into the defensive stack. This might not be the correct play. This might get very dangerous here.
Well, they're going for that A slide. The rotate is a little bit late. Luckily for them, as we said, that wall cuts almost everything off. Vince in the cope, as he said, very safe planned, easy one as well. The paranoia doesn't avert him for that much, and Bink is gonna have an easy time with that Spectre at that kind of range. Two more for Vince on the Sheriff, and it's looking rather clean for them here. It's only Evil and Foxy left. One of them is on the Classic, the other one is on the Ghost. You would need a miracle to convert that 2v5, and looks like a miracle it will not be. They're just apparently planning to walk away, maybe waiting to die to the Spike eventually.
Yeah, I do feel like that is the correct call to make here. Oh no, they're just jumping off the map. I mean, that works as well. Just pulling a classic old G2. Just don't wait for that spike. Just go suicide yourself. And yeah, that is the best and safest play at that point. Really, no chance to get any more kills into that round, unless of course you get some very ridiculous classic right clicks there for Foxy, but surely that wouldn't have happened. So now we have an outlaw on either side, and I feel like Vince's one is so much more dangerous because we do see 4 half shields, or at least 425 HP players on the side of challengers.
Yeah, as he said, 3 regions, a single white, and only a single player. That is Capelot. I really wouldn't feel the full extent of the wrath of that outlaw, but so far, they've been pretty law-abiding in the way that they're actually approaching the game here, VCGN. Just very slow, very methodical. They isolate the angles with one of those smokes. They still got Mo for the other set. And yeah, it's exactly what you would expect out of the team that brings a double controller. We've seen the scene from Defiant at times. But them being on defense, they're just relying on the Astra more as backup util. Like for actually that util dump in comparison to anything else. But that very deep position from Jax can bring the whole round to a close because they're setting up a very good A split here.
I do think they might have spotted him with that 0 point right there. So
yeah,
while his I do think so. It doesn't give them the perfect information because of course it only spots out an area and not it doesn't ping the location like a Silver Dart would, for example. But it still gives them that idea that somebody is up mid, and this is a danger zone. And now Evil is the first to challenge it. Almost connects a shot dash out by Jax. Evil untraded, no damage taken either. That's crazy.
Yeah, Spike planted down, and well, at least they're gonna get the wall. They're gonna have both of their controllers up in the picture, but Nyko's gonna take down Slice, so now you got no flank control. They're trying to speed up the play. One shot on the outlaw, that's enough to kill that KO. They still need to do more work. Still trying to go for the push. The outlaw does no damage to Nyko on this time of asking. They need to drop down from the heaven. The 2 players on the back Slice are making things difficult. The smoke phase shots are exchanging. That's 3 from Nyko as it leaves just Bink in this round, trying to go for anything. Half stick. They're going to go commit to it. Evil already has held down a timer, and it is too far gone. That is a round to Defiant. 2-1 it is, and they find themselves victorious in their own buy.
And how unfortunate that Jax got spotted out by that KO knife this early. And honestly, I'm not even sure how the Evil got away with that kill and then just dipping into that smoke. But it also left, I'm not sure who it was, I believe it was Scythe, on an island against 4 defenders, really no chance to get anything more into that round. And the 3 versus 5 retake, holding that is super difficult, especially without perfect weaponry. And it looks like it's still...
They're none the wiser. He might even have an angle for a multi-kill here. He has a tailwind. That is a free kill. Going for even more. Finding an easy double Nyko, but maybe going a bit too far back. Bink is not gonna go on the kill, but not the second onto Nyko as he carries it all on their own, on their back. 3 kills are found from the Jet. And now CGN need to do it all in a 2v4.
So difficult now, but they have spotted out the correct side to hit. Only Foxy here to really deny any advances of a spike plant. Not sure if he will swing out of heaven as soon as it gets tapped, because he probably shouldn't, just to play the numbers a little more. Paranoia coming out already, or at least in half.
Last player standing.
Well, doesn't do that much though. Easy work for the Omen. At least then is gonna find something in the response here, but it's very difficult to hold from that response. Paranoia. Foxy finds the kill. And Defiant find themselves with the second round on the board. That's 2-2. It's equal. And honestly, the buy rounds, they've been much more convincing on their side.
Oh yeah, they've been looking really good. And honestly, what an introduction here from Nyko to just come onto the server, instantly deliver a 3k like this. Very clean. I didn't feel like he was in danger there at all. I mean, sure, one wasn't looking at him, one was reloading, but the third, you still have to hit that, especially while backtracking like that.
Well, I just want to see if they're going to be able to backtrack.
Cover going out.
These changes that you've said, because for the side of VCGN, like, their methodical style was good, but for me it's about, like, what do you do with the space that you've gained? Because Defiant, they gain the space, they try to capitalize on it with kills. Like, their approach is very direct and clear. As you can tell, they broke the window, they got the connector to A, they got all the control in middle. It's this point here, Larry, that I feel like they lose their control as they try to make their next step. But I feel like Defiant are already one step ahead in the thought process. They got 2 players holding each of those angles. And we'll have to see if VCGN are actually able to break the deadlock towards the A split.
That is what it looks like, and I might expect KO Knife coming in soon. They're from Gonga Longa, like we've seen before, to spot out that Jet and KO. And what? Oh, the Paranoia didn't hit! Oh! That is so unfortunate, and the kill is just going all in the way of Defiant. Really nice shots there from Capalot and Evil, and it leaves Mo in the 1 versus 5. Really no way to do anything here.
Yeah, should be the impossible.
30 seconds left.
Going out.
Definitely not looking likely, and it will be. Foxy cleanses his soul. That shot to the head from the Vandal. Flying up on the scoreboard after losing the pistol has been smooth sailing, really. And you know what? This is the part that... Oh, the pet didn't connect. I feel like the double kill from Capalot is a problem. But maybe the bigger problem for me is...
Spike down A.
Where's the use of
One enemy remaining.
I might ask, and well, my answer has been none. No dash into the smoke, no wave distracting the Astra. Just giving her clear duels, and it shouldn't work like that when you're executing. You need to have util to actually get favorable duels.
And well, yeah, it didn't work like that, as we very clearly saw. And I mean, there isn't too much that they could have thrown that way. They only have pretty much an Omen Paranoia, and as you said, it jet dash into that cloudburst, and so that's what they have to work off. What an insane play here from Jax, punished by Gonga Longa immediately.
The idea was really good. The execution, however, is what I would say was not the smoothest. And that clunky execution did allow them to actually make something happen here. The ultimate coming in. The Reckoning is forcing Defiant out of the angle for now. And there's still more Yudo coming in, but it's going to be Nyko with the first kill of that round. A trade from Bink with a double. But it will be Evil to try to find something. Now a 2 3-2. They need to find kills. They need to extend out. Time is ticking, and it's not on their side. VCGN gonna use that timing to walk back out of range. It's a very easy angle to spam, and that shot to the head is more than enough. Diff have really found a round on that back. 3K coming in onto Evil. And that will put the number 3 everywhere in the game. 3 for Defiant and 3 for VCGN.
And honestly, I cannot tell what happened there. There were some kills found all the way into the defender spawn, and with the way Jack just pretty much died immediately. I felt like the 4v5 retake. Yeah, sure, it's B, but it's still very, very hard to hold. But they did manage, and they did manage so quite nicely. And now Nico does have an operator online.
Revealing area. There they are.
That's a lot of info early. The operator, however, is not the one under threat. It's the rest of the players in mid. He lost one of the controllers. He still got one, but the op is also hurt. Guy goes down to 70. Gongalonga kind of has to hold middle all on their own. That's a good advantage of VCGN. This is the first time in a while that I feel like they've gotten an early kill. So hopefully they're going to be able to do something with it, because their mid has been a success. If the site hits, that feels like it don't always connect.
It does seem so, and they might have taken a little bit too much time for the hit into B here, just giving the defense some time to reset. But it is still only a Foxy towards this B side. Gongalonga now coming in to reinforce, but there is nothing that they can do about this hit, and probably also about the plant going down. 4 versus 5 retake already really hard.
Oh, the spike is still gonna go down. It's a little bit deeper than maybe what they either wanted, but they still got the damage onto the Silva regardless. It's now about using all 3 of your flashes. One used by Gonga, the Paranoia used as well, but Fink and Jax will combine Fink as well. It's everything in red. Only Capelot has found any success for the side of Defiant. And he feels like the Soul Rebel up against the machine that does not miss. That is Jax.
And Defiant really crumbling from that initial dominance that they had on this map to go up 3-2 there. And there is the timeout. I think it was necessary because they've just been so damn exploited the entire time. And so I feel like the call must be to just stack B a little bit more than before. Because B is really their Achilles tendon at this point. They cannot retake it for the life of them. And so, by just giving it up every single time, they basically just say, here challenges, take the free round.
Yeah, I wouldn't say free. Like, I would definitely say, like, Defiant did actually have a try, but I would agree with you. Like, that was a bit of a collapse. I feel like the retake wasn't as coherent. And it all came down to the 3 flashes and their utilization of it. It feels like the flashes didn't really have a lot of value in what they added to the retake. Maybe the Paranoia, but it was a bit too early, which made things easy for challengers. And now you look at the scoreboard, and you can tell, okay, like, this game, it's pretty close. And for Defiant, there's one player that is Gongalonga that I believe is only on a single kill. So some room for improvement in terms of the fragging, but in terms of the reads, so far they've been doing pretty well. They're reading down mid, they're reading down the side hits properly. It's just the execution of the retake, for example, in the last round was the one that they didn't find success in, and one before. It's a very similar situation for the retake. Capelot does have the arrow. He's stuck in a very bad angle and will need to eventually retreat. The smoke does buy him some time. It does mean they're trying to play on the one way, and a dash into the side onto the smoke make Vink have an easy shot onto Camelot. And now they're going for the rest of the team. The spray down from Mo has got an evil.
Spike planted.
And CGN find themselves in a 2-man advantage. Another spike plant and Nico there with the op down middle is completely shutting down that avenue of attack. So CGN challengers will need to go back to main, but the op will be safe. Then I doubt any further action will be ensuing in this round.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the call has been made a while ago to just save here, maybe play for some exits, which is why Foxy is still sticking around. But it doesn't seem like challengers are willing to give them anything. They are so keen on holding this side that now they are also just all running to save. They don't want to give them anything to maybe even get a little bit of an advantage into this game. And so 3 guns carried over into the next one, 3-5 for challengers, and it's looking very grim for Defiant. They need to find an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that answer has to come in terms of early success, where I feel like, Larry, you might agree with me here. Like, Defiant is good once it comes to actually, like, locking down a side from an exec. But the amount of leniency that I feel like challengers are getting in terms of their initial advantage, their initial push, the stage before the execute, is where maybe Defiant is giving the other side too much credit.
One suppressed.
I agree. It feels like Defiant, they're trying to absorb all of the aggression and then play for the retake, but so far they've just been absorbing it, and well, they haven't squeezed out the sponge just yet. Reckoning now instantly invested from the side of challengers, hitting into this A side, and once again Defiant, they're just soaking it all up. They are sitting in CT, just playing for this retake.
Take flight.
Well, from that retake, what else can they do? Capilot will find the first kill of the round, still in the backside. The paranoia is a good deterrent, but the flash is actually too far gone, making it easy for Jax to find a single kill. But they're still proceeding in Mo should easily find both of those kills, and they will. Nyko's the one that does find something in return, and they need Nyko to continue stepping up. Z-Evil will step down, the Cove goes off. They can see that D-Fuse is holding down the half. Nyko's gonna try to go for the kill, but the divide is more than enough, and they push through, and Vink is more than able to seal that one down. 6 for challengers as Defiant feels like they are indeed crumbling down their first half.
And what a lovely cosmic divide there, coming out from challengers. I wasn't too sure if it was far enough off the center of the spike for them to hear and see it, but it was just perfect for challengers to play off of. I just realized it was actually Defiant's cosmic divide, and so they kind of maybe threw the round just a tiny bit there, making it basically impossible for them to defuse safely. And so this is once again this mid push from Capilot. Last time it was Nyko in this position. Doesn't seem like anyone is going to check it this time, however. Not going to challenge into it, although Scythe is getting close.
I mean, Capilot can definitely go deeper because he's spots nobody in mid, and he can hear all the noise that is actually pointing all the rotations towards the right side. Knife is broken, which is going to be a problem because that could have allowed them to pace up as much as they want, but they don't need to because they found the flanker. Great work from Sif right there. Find Capilot in that angle. You go in, you know where they are, so you know that the A side is the easier one to hit. And you go from the shadows, going in from the depths. Hopefully Defiant is going to have a chance here at holding them, but it feels like that they're maybe too little too late as they're setting up for what should be a retake in a firepower deficit for everybody outside than Nyko. And they're trying to abuse that. You can tell they're going for the sprays, shots fired back and forth at the backside, but no success found as of yet. They will push as soon as the flash goes. They're going to go for the util and the answer. Bink gives them the arrow, but Jax is good for the double. Could even find the hat trick. Bink will be the assistance necessary, and he will find a pair of his own to make it an advantage and a bare minimum a half one for challenge.
And I feel like Defiant, they have to pick up on the fact at some point that they cannot play this B retake. Or this A retake. They can't play retake, basically. They need to maybe even do an early flood through that harbor util. I know that's very difficult because it slows you down and makes you a little bit more vulnerable. But, I mean, it is what they have to do at this point. Either that or they do a flank, but they can't let challengers get into this comfortable post plant because they just win every single time.
Water rising.
Yeah, again, and it comes down to this. This is the thing that actually eases them into that post plant. The setup that they're trying to play. They're trying to play too passive. There's no tug of war, which I feel like is the important thing for any defense in any map in Valorant. You need to at least have one side where it's the stronger one, the side that they feel like they don't have any chance of success. Right now, it feels like challengers can go A, they can go B. They feel no difference between the two in terms of their takes. And Foxy tried to go for some spam. Mild damage hit. Reckoning is already on, and they will be just thoroughly as they try to go for the angle. We can tell kills are happening on the back of the side. Jackson Bing, both of them find a kill each, and Defiant again put in harm's way, and in a way that really feels impossible for them to retake with both the numbers disadvantage and the fact that you don't even have any way to break through now with Michael dying. Everybody has to go for dry aim duels. Maybe that drone will be your first line of entry, but again, flash is not good. And it eases Jax into a triple, Kapalov into almost what could have been a triple of his own on two already. Looking for more. Knows that there's a player in the back of that cove, goes in on the Sova. That will be a hat trick, but that will be all she wrote. 8 were challengers.
Really, really nice shots coming in from Kapalot there, but once again, I mean, that playing against that Reckoning is so difficult if you're playing
Last player standing.
even try to stand still, fight for nothing,
Standing
getting
ahead.
stunned up. And so I understand why Defiant had to play offside, and that's just some really nice game planning from challengers at that point. And I feel like this was maybe I think the third Reckoning already coming out for Vince. He's been getting a lot of kills, and he's been getting the plant done every single time. He's basically just farming up his ultimate every round, and it's worked out so fantastically.
Absolutely. Not just that ultimate is a big one. Bink also can take that orb right here in the A site. Hunter's Fury available on acquisition. Seems like that is the plan. Get yourself into A main. Set up a quick exec. You have the Sova that can either plant or get the orb. It looks like it will be the former as they're speeding up their exec. A full retreat from the side of Defiant, and VCGN are going to have yet another easier plan. The Fury of the Hunter coming in from the defensive side, but kills are not found, damage is not found. Kapalot will actually find Sif, and here comes the response, trying to find a kill of their own, and they will. The numbers have swung due to the Hunters, but now they will need to take matters into their own hand. 1 for 1 they go. Mo still holding the angle, a double for the Omen, and Fink should easily seal that one down. Inside the smoke, the drone doesn't spot him, and yeah, it should be free here, but the flank is everything. They go for that angle, spotted through the smoke. Now they have to be careful. Foxy going for the push. Bink is gonna find one and the flank as well. And CGN continue their dominance on a 6-round streak.
Switching sides.
9-3 scoreline at half is pretty crazy to me, but challengers, they've just been playing their game plan so perfectly, just getting into these post plans very, very swift, and then, well, there was really no chance for Defiant to retake at any point over this half. And Volt, we are going to find out if this dominance by challengers is going to continue, or whether Defiant might be able to get a little bit of a comeback going. Maybe the 93 curse will come